what I'm presenting tonight is a class that I'd prepared and have been teaching that takes place over 4 weeks with an hour and a half each week. So we're going to do a very condensed version of it tonight, and I hope you'll enjoy it. I'm going to try to share my screen so that you can see the PowerPoint. This class is called Finding Our Balance, Lessons on the 4 Immeasurables. And these are teachings from the Buddhist tradition, but they actually even predate the Buddhist tradition and are part of the Vedic tradition from the Brahma Vihara. And so these are kind of really universal concepts, not just for Buddhism or Buddhists. So there's what's called the 4 immeasurables, and these are the qualities that we want to develop if we want to work towards enlightenment. And even if we're not so interested in becoming enlightened or proceeding on that path, it also just helps us to develop a kind heart and to have more enjoyment of our lives. So the first of these 4 is metta, the Sanskrit word for loving kindness, and that helps us transform our anger and hatred. And then the next one is karuna, or compassion, and that transforms our grasping and greedy and desire. The next is mudita, or joy, and that transforms jealousy and envy. And the last is upekkha, or equanimity, and that transforms our pride and arrogance. So this is a mandala, and it's kind of a graphic depiction of what we just talked about. So in the mandala, you have, in the Tibetan tradition, you usually enter from the bottom, and that's where the east is located. So each of these, the 4 sections of the mandala have different qualities associated with them. And those of you who came to my class previously, we did a flying exercise, and we talked about the qualities in each direction. So, and we're going to do that again tonight as well. But just briefly to point this out, in the bottom is the east, and that's the white color, and the element is water. And it's where the emotion of anger is located. And when it becomes transformed, it becomes loving kindness. And then on opposite, in the west, we have the red color, and that's element is fire in that direction. And the west represents the emotion of greed, or grasping, or passion, all the grasping qualities. And transformed, it becomes compassion. And then in the north, which is the green color, we have the quality of jealousy or envy, and the element is air. And transformed, it becomes joy. And then in the south, we have the yellow color, and that's represents the earth. And the emotion is pride, and when it gets transformed, it becomes equanimity. If anyone wants a copy of this section, we'll send it to you so you can refer back to this if you'd like. So then you might ask, well, how do we transform these negative emotions into positive qualities? So the first is just on a simple level to experience it with your own self, your family, your loved ones. So it's kind of like we're rejoicing at the good fortune of our loved ones rather than being jealous of them. So, sometimes when siblings in a family are together, of course, they love each other, but there's often some jealousy or envy between them. So that's a good representation. And we can remember back how we were jealous of our brothers or sisters, or if we were only child, perhaps our classmates for when they had things that we didn't, etc. So once we recognize that we have that quality of jealousy from our past or even present, we can start to direct it into a positive way. So actually envy or jealousy has kind of two parts to it. The first part is appreciating the good qualities or the good things that somebody else has. And that's a good thing. And we want to expand that. But then the second thing that comes when we have jealousy or envy is the wish that person doesn't have it anymore. So we want to take it away from them, maybe for ourselves, or maybe we don't even want it for ourselves, but we just don't want them to have it. So that's the part we want to try to transform. And one of the ways to do that is to expand the joyful part, the appreciation part. So we appreciate our own good qualities. Sometimes if we have a little bit of low self-esteem or lack of confidence, that can help feed these kind of negative qualities of jealousy and envy. But if we can just appreciate our own good qualities, our own good accomplishments, that can sometimes really help. And then from ourselves and our loved ones, we can spread it out so that we feel joy for all of the people we've never met. Maybe we see them on the news, or we just know that they exist in the world. And we wish that all of them have as many good qualities or good experiences as possible. And then from there, we want to just expand it out even further so that we're just spreading this joyful quality of appreciation of the good things, of the good accomplishments that people have made to all the beings in the whole universe. So that's people and animals and insects, all the beings in the universe. We want to spread this sense of joy towards them. And this is also just another technique for helping us to transform those emotions. And it's the word is breath. So it's kind of like when these emotions arise, such as jealousy or envy, we want to take a nice deep breath and just stop for a moment. Because usually what happens when we have an emotion, we kind of get stuck to it. Our consciousness gets stuck to the concepts or the emotions, the feelings, the anger, the frustration, the envy, the jealousy. But if we can take a breath, we can put a little space between us and the emotion. And that gives us a chance to stop and reflect for a moment. Like, maybe there really isn't a good reason to be jealous of this person. Maybe I could think about this in a different way and just be joyful for them and appreciate their accomplishment. The next is evaluate. And so then maybe you need to reflect on it a little bit. Like, well, maybe they really did deserve to get that degree or that award or that nice gift. Maybe it's something they did in the past, like Sachin's story with, the brother who was destined to die in a year, but he changed his karma or his life from his positive actions. Then the A is act. Sometimes just even a very small gesture can help. You just go up to the person and say, oh, I'm so proud of you for getting your degree or for receiving that award. And isn't that really wonderful? And sometimes even a little action can help break that cycle of negativity. The next is thank. So you can thank the person for everything they've done for you in your life, for the effort they made in their accomplishments, and or whatever seems appropriate for you. But just a sense of thankfulness can sometimes really help change the atmosphere of your mind. And then the last is help. So, do what you can to help. Ask the person who you were jealous of, what can you do to help them? And, sometimes just that attitude of helpfulness can change the way you view things, the way you're feeling, the way you're acting. So this is just a little practice you can try and see if it can help you when you're feeling an emotion. And you can use this with things like anger or greed, grasping, pride, any of those four we talked about earlier. You can use this same technique. Okay, so we're going to move into our practice section now. But before that, I want to just see if anyone has any questions or comments on this, what we've gone over so far. You want to stand with your feet about hip distance apart, arms by your sides, and we're just going to slowly let our arms come up from our sides, palms facing down as they come up, and then let our arms come up overhead, palms facing out, backs of the hands together, and then give a nice stretch up towards the sky. Take a nice deep breath into the belly and the chest, expanding the chest and the belly. And then slowly let it out as the arms slowly come down to our sides. So we're going to do this to each of the 5 directions of the mandala, if you'd like. So we're going to start facing the east. So that's, of course, where the sun rises in the morning. So if you can remember where the sun rises in relation to your house, you can start by facing the east. I'm going to just keep facing forward so you can see and hear me a little better. So we'll let our arms come up from our sides. And as we face the east, that's the color white, as you remember at the bottom of the mandala. The element is water. The emotion is anger or hatred, and transformed it becomes loving kindness. A nice stretch up towards the sky. Deep breath into the chest and the belly, and slowly let it out as the arms slowly come down to our sides. And then you can take a quarter turn to your right, and we'll be facing the south. So as our arms come up, we can think of the sun moving through the sky. Once it's overhead, it's nice bright yellow. That's the color in this direction. The element is earth. And the emotion is pride, and transformed it becomes equanimity. Nice stretch up towards the sky, feet really planted on the earth. Deep breath into the chest and the belly, and slowly let it out as the arms slowly come down. Let's take one more quarter turn to our right. We'll be facing the west. And as our arms come up, we can think of the color red from the sunset time. The element's fire. The emotion is greed. Transformed, it becomes compassion. A nice stretch up towards the sky. Deep breath into the belly. Slowly let it out as the arms slowly come down. And then one more quarter turn to your right. We'll be facing the north. As the arms come up, you can think of all the beautiful trees in the north, the green color, the air that they create. Those are the qualities in this direction. And I stretch up towards the sky, feet really planted on the earth. Deep breath into the chest and belly, and slowly let it out as the arms slowly come down. And the emotion in this direction is jealousy. Transformed, it becomes joy. And one more quarter turn to your right. We'll be facing the east, but we're going to be focusing on the center. So that means all the space above us and below us, and at our deepest center. So as your arms come up, you can think of the color blue, deep royal blue, and the element is ether, the atmospheric quality. I stretch up to the sky, feet really planted on the earth. Deep breath into the chest and belly, and then slowly let it out as the arms slowly come down to our sides. And the emotion in this direction is ignorance, and transformed, it becomes deep inner wisdom. Okay, so that's our mandala practice, or flying practice. So we're going to just do one more standing practice while we're up. It's a slow walking practice. So we're going to have our feet about a little further than hip distance apart. And we'll just lift the heel of one foot, and then the ball of the foot, and then the toes. And then set down, heel, ball, toe. And then lift the back, heel, ball, toe. And set down, heel, ball, toe. So if it works for you to make a little clockwise circle at your home, that's a nice place, a way to do this practice. But if you don't have much space, you can just kind of walk in place like I'm doing. And this is really nice practice to just kind of help slow the world down. And while we do this practice, it's really nice to focus on your senses. Just letting your senses be relaxed and open. Relaxing all the muscles around your eyes, letting your sense of sight be just very receptive, open, and appreciative. And then relaxing all the muscles around the ear and the neck, letting all the sounds just come in and soothe you and let you have a sense of appreciation for them, for the fact that we have the sense of sound, or hearing. And likewise with our sense of smell, as we breathe deeply, we can appreciate all the subtle scents that might be in our room. And just appreciate the fact that we're able to smell and experience our world this way. Smell all the wonderful flowers if we're not allergic. And wonderful food smells. And then also our sense of taste we can be aware of. So usually we're not aware of that if we're not eating or drinking something, but we can just be aware of the subtle, natural taste in the mouth, relaxing the throat and the jaw, and just appreciating the fact that we are able to taste the wonderful variety of foods that we're able to have. And finally, our sense of touch. You know, we have that over our whole bodies, and it's so wonderful. We get to touch our loved ones. We get to experience our world by touching the different textures. And it's just so wonderful that we are able to experience our world in a very physical, kinetic way. So now we're going to sit back down and we're going to do a little chanting. Well, it doesn't seem to want to go, so we'll just go ahead and do it without the image. So for this practice, we're going to chant Om Ah Hum. So these are three, they're called seed syllable mantras, and Om relates to the body and the crown chakra at the top of the head. Ah relates to the throat chakra, and Hum relates to the heart chakra. So as we chant these three, it helps us to integrate our body and speech and mind, and our body, breath, and mind. So we'll chant this 3 times and then just sit quietly for a short time after that. And if you'd like, there's gestures you can do while we chant. So when we chant Om, our hands can be in our knees in a gesture of meditation. Ah, our hands can be in our lap with the left under the right, also a meditation gesture. And for the Hum, our hands could be outstretched in a gesture of giving. Om. Ah. Hum. Om. Ah. Hum. Om. Ah. Hum. And if you'd like, you can imagine a beautiful white light entering your body at the crown chakra at the top of your head and slowly coming down into your head, transforming all of your senses with this beautiful white light. And it can then flow into the chest, the neck and the throat, and then the chest, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers, down through the torso, down into the legs, finally into the feet. And we can just sit for a moment, experience this beautiful nectar-like white light transforming our whole body into a very peaceful, calm state. And we can also imagine the light expanding beyond our own body, moving out into the universe, touching all beings with this beautiful light that can heal all their illnesses, all their worries, all their fears, solve all their problems, and just bring peace and joy to all beings. Human and animal, all the beings can be made peaceful through the beautiful light that we're generating towards them. Om Ahum once more, and when we do it this time, we're going to be dedicating any merit, any positive qualities we created through our practice towards the benefit of all beings. Om. Ah.